Joining us now, our good friend Hank Burdine, board member with the Mississippi Levee Commission. Good morning there, Hank. How are you, sir?
Good morning. How y'all down in Jackson, Mississippi today?
Well, we're happy at least because the sky is blue, it's not raining, and it appears that the chances of rain have been decreased for the next few days, which I think is a good thing. I was traveling through the Delta about a month ago during the June monsoons. Water everywhere. What's going on?
Oh, man, we got hit like with over 1,000 years. I mean, we hadn't had rain like this since biblical times, and it just hit a corridor through there, and it dumped upwards of 20 inches of rain within 2 days in some areas, and it was pretty tough because we had corn 5, 6 feet tall. We had soybeans that were coming on doing great, and it just really knocked the socks off a lot of those areas. But we've been able to jump back in there once the water got down, replanted, and crops are looking pretty good right now. And the river's down.
Yeah.
Don't look like we got any problem with backwater flooding, and the Mississippi River is acting right over there right now. So everything seems to be rocking and rolling around here right now. Let's keeping our fingers crossed. We're getting ready to go into a pretty heavy harvest season. This corn is getting ready, and these farmers are greasing their combines, chomping at the bit.
Yeah. So, we had Commissioner Andy Gibson on the show earlier this week, and he was talking about the many farmers and the struggles that they're experiencing with all the water in the fields, and some are, I guess, looking at total loss of their crop and looking to replant beans or something to get something in the ground that they can harvest and generate a little revenue. Are you in touch with some of those guys, hearing anything like that?
Yeah, and that's what I was just saying, that the majority of the real big hit we got back in June, they've been able to jump in there, clean it back up, get replanted, planted a lot of the corn back in some of the duck hole areas and all like that, but the soybeans have been replanted. We're kind of a little too late to get anything in the ground right now other than a winter wheat crop, but those areas that were replanted had plenty of moisture once the water went down, and those beans are coming back on strong. And with the technology we have now and the irrigation and all capabilities, they're looking pretty good right now. We're just keeping our fingers crossed. We don't get a hurricane come up and knock everything else out again. But right now we're looking pretty good up in here.
All right, good to hear that. So what you got any updates on the pump situation, the Yazoo and all that stuff that just seems to keep rolling on? Anything new there?
Well, we're rocking along. I just watched the lady from Rolling Fork that has Chuck's Dairy Bar down there. She was just testifying before a Senate hearing up there on environmental justice and the need for the pumps to try to help bring this delta back again and get those pumps that were promised over 80 years ago by the federal government. We got a lot of the environmental organizations within the state of Mississippi, the Mississippi Wildlife Federation, your Mississippi Fish and Wildlife. We got a lot of those people that are backing it, and they are the ones that are hands-on, that have been down there, seen the devastation, and understand what these pumps will do.
Yeah.
And the positive aspect of the new pump plan and all like that. So we're pushing along, keeping our fingers crossed that everything's going to continue to lay down, hopefully like it should.
Yeah. Well, we sure are. All right, Hank, tell us about this proposed West Side Corridor Highway. I've seen a map. This just looks really neat. What's going on?
And I mean, I'm talking about rocking and rolling here. This is a push. Commissioner Willie Simmons with the Central Highway Commission, Transportation Commissioner, is putting together a program and to tie in with the I-69 project, which comes. I-69 is a 16. It's a huge operation coming from Canada all the way down into Mexico. It's 1,660-mile corridor, and it comes right through the northwest part of the state. We've got the bypass around Memphis already built. It comes on down. We'll either cross over around the B-Nord area or very possibly tie into the brand-new Mississippi River Bridge we have at Greenville to cross over into Arkansas and get a lot of Arkansas South Delta area tied in with it. And as part of this, what we're hoping to look at and do is to create an entire west it the West Carter Blues and Heritage Highway. And by doing that, the only part that's not 4-lane along that river route area is from Leland on 82 Highway down to Vicksburg and cross over to hit Crystal Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that would tie in a 4-lane highway all the way from Beale Street in Memphis to Bourbon Street in New Orleans. And look at the economic impact that a 4-lane highway would do. A West Carter running parallel to the Mississippi River from Memphis down to New Orleans. It ties in the 3 ports along the Mississippi River and the Delta. You've got the Rosedale port, you've got the Greenville port, and you've got the Vicksburg port. What it also does is creates an evacuation route for southern Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, and Florida in the event of these hurricanes that have been coming up. You know what happens. Those folks flood up, and they don't have any way to get away from the path of danger. This would create a complete path right straight on up to Memphis. The economic development along that would bring it in on I-69, I-20 crossing across, I-10, I-55, the tremendous economic impact of these trucks and everything to be able to travel up and down that 4-lane highway right through the middle of the Delta, tying into 20, tying into 82, tying into all these different highways that are in here. It would complete the package. Now, if you look at a tourism route, which connects Beale Street to Bourbon Street, we have such a tremendous eco-tourism possibility here now, with people coming in wanting to see the birthplace of American music, not only of blues, but of American music, which came from right here in the Mississippi Delta. And the names of the people up and down 61 Highway that are from here, that were from here, when you're talking about Sam Cooke, you're talking about Conway Twitty, Fannie Lou Hamer's memorial is right there at Rouville, Mississippi, right off of 61 Highway. Get on down to B.B. King Museum. You've got the Grammy Museum in Cleveland, Kermit the Frog in Leland. You've got Sam Chapman that lived down in Hollandale, Son Thomas, Muddy Waters, Willie Dixon, Robert Johnson was in Crystal Springs, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. You got Bo Diddley down in Macomb. You've got Louis Armstrong, Pat's Domino in New Orleans. The eco-tourism dollars that would flow up and down this highway coming in here to see these areas, to go to Clarksdale, see the Mississippi, the Blues Museum there. The federal government has just spent a bunch of millions of dollars right there at Onward Store, right below Onward Store, for the Teddy Roosevelt Holt Collier Interpretive Center. It's a magnificent facility that was supposed to open up right when COVID hit, but it's back open now. And that's a wonderful exhibit to go down there and learn about the birthplace of the teddy bear, of the bear hunting situation down here. We had more bear in the Mississippi Delta than anywhere else in the United States. There's tremendous opportunity if we can get this West Carter Blues and Heritage Highway going. I'm ready for it to happen. Let's get going up here in the Delta.
You know, it's amazing, Hank, how just looking at the route, how it was able to be configured such that it does, in fact, come so close and adjacent to the various landmarks associated with so many of Mississippi's famous citizens. That's incredible.
That's
without
correct.
really going out of the way. It's just amazing how they're all sort of up and down that line.
That's right, and just following Highway 61 like that old blues song goes. Highway 61, the longest road I know, go from Chicago to the Gulf of Mexico. So let's capitalize on this. And another thing, over the last 30, 40 years, the west area of Mississippi, the Mississippi Delta and all like that, it's been lagging behind. The federal dollars, the state dollars have not been put in there to try to keep this thing going, to be the economic impact, the driver to keep this area where it should be.
Got it.
Time now for us to make Mississippi whole again. Let's bring all parts of Mississippi into the mainstream. Let's get all of it into the economic development part of it, the industries.
Sounds like a good deal.
we got tremendous capabilities and tremendous possibilities, and this West Carter Blues and Heritage Highway would be a big part of it.
Appreciate you joining us, Hank. Always a pleasure, sir. You take care. We'll talk soon.
Let's build the pumps and start pouring concrete. Talk to you later. Bye.
We'll be right back on the JT Show, folks.